Greetings, YouTube. I was listening to a reporter at NPR the other day, and yeah, that's a theme this week. And they were talking to some former steel workers in an Ohio town. I don't remember which one. I say former because when the steel mill closed its doors, the entire town essentially died because that was the main industry. And for every person that worked there, there were lots of people that were supported by those from the money they had. And when that money went away, well, the town pretty much dried up. And one of them, they all support number 45, the jester. And one of them said that he came from a long line of Democrats, and he felt that the Democrats had stopped listening to Main Street. And so he voted for a confessed sexual predator and fascist. So I begin to wonder, why would you do that? Now, the critique of the Democrats is completely justified. The Democrats have, in fact, stopped listening to Main Street. At least they had. They might be listening now, thanks to Bernie Sanders. Because pretty much for the past 40 years, the Democrats have been trying to be the Republicans from the 1970s. That's been their goal. And they've been quite successful at it. Clinton once said in an interview that she was a Goldwater girl when she was younger. And she never changed her politics. She stayed in place. The Democratic Party just whooshed to the right until she could claim to be a Democrat without ever having changed her politics. So she just stood still, and the party came to her. She was still a better choice than number 45, of course. She isn't the jester. She isn't an active fascist, a confessed molester of people, a failed business person. There isn't anything I can say positive about the jester, really. You know the routine. But the idea that you would vote for the GOP because the Democrats aren't listening to Main Street is mind-blowing. Because it isn't just that the GOP isn't listening to Main Street. It's that they want to sell Main Street to private investors until the public has no control over it. They want to privatize everything. There's nothing in the world that the GOP doesn't want to privatize. They would privatize the military if they could. They want America to be nothing but one big business. They are opposed to the concept of the public trust. They hate the idea of public institutions controlled by the public. They want the public to have no control of anything. They want you and me to be serfs. If you're not in the 1%, in the nobility, or the 0.1% in the royalty, then you are nothing but a fucking serf. And to think that a laborer would vote for a party that wants that is incredible. And one of the people they interviewed is African American. A black guy supported the GOP. That makes as much sense as a gay person supporting the GOP. And you're going to tell me, well, you know, people's lives and people's politics are often separate. Bullshit. There's a very wise person who once said, it's all politics. There is no separation. And if you vote for the GOP, that means you are endorsing the entire GOP agenda. All of it. The anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-woman, anti-minority, anti-Muslim, anti-labor. You're endorsing all of that. And these people, these laborers, have decided they're going to endorse those policies because the Democrats weren't listening to Main Street. Well, at least the Democrats aren't trying to sell Main Street down the river. And the fact that the Democrats were not able to get that message across is also dumbfounding. But anyone that supports the GOP that isn't in the 1% is not only voting against their own best interests, but they're voting against the best interests of America and the world at large. Because climate change is real, folks. Coal is dead. And we need to start endorsing policies that are going to save us so your great-grandchildren actually have a planet to live on. I mean, as an intellectual exercise, the world without humans may be interesting, but I think that your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, might actually want to be able to live here. And endorsing the GOP and their policies is going to mean even if they are still able to breathe, they will be slaves. So way to go, former steelworkers. You've endorsed the policies that closed that plant. You've endorsed the policies that got them to shift their jobs to another country. You've endorsed the policies that are going to sell Main Street and leave you with nothing. And your children with nothing. Congratulations.